I recently went through a medical procedure that I kept putting off for a year and a half, and it had to do with the dental implants. And I had so much fear associated with it because of the unfortunate past experience. The experience where my health, I felt like it wasn't a priority, and where some of the decisions ended up creating more problems than good. So as a result, I lost a lot of trust. Trust in the dentists, trust in the process itself, but most of all, trust in my own ability to make decisions when it came to this matter. So even though I knew I had to get it done, I kept putting it off. So this is where NeuroGraphica came to the rescue. I began to draw. I created multiple drawings around this one situation. I drew through the fear. I worked with my past experiences. I worked with my relationship with the dentist I had chosen, with my body, with the procedure itself, and with the possibility of the most loving and gentle outcome. And what I eventually found underneath all of that fear was trust. Trust in myself, trust in the fact that I had taken my time to consider the options. I've done my research on the kind of implants I wanted and the kind that I actually could get. Trust in this dentist, not only as a professional, but also as somebody who genuinely wanted to help me. But most of all, trust in my own body. And this is where the biggest shift happened for me. Instead of looking at my body as something that I needed to worry about, to fix, or somehow control, I began to see it as my partner in this process. I am doing everything within my power to support my body in healing, and my body is doing everything within its power to support me too. We're in this together. And after all the reflections, all the inner work, all the drawings, there was this one question that specifically stood out to me. And this is something that I wanted to share with you today as well, because this question is not only about medical procedures, it applies to any major change or decision that you have to make in your life, whether it's in your relationships, in your business, in your work, in anything that you go through in life. And the question is this: am I making this decision out of fear, or because I genuinely feel that this is what supports the greater good? And I think this distinction is extremely important because fear doesn't always tell us to run away. And it doesn't always tell us to stop either. Sometimes it tells us to keep doing more research, to keep asking other people, to keep considering all the open options that we have available. And sometimes it tells us to make the decision quickly so that the uncertainty could finally go away and we can get some relief. And that's what prevents us from moving forward so often, is because we cannot recognize whether it's truly our inner voice or the fear that is driving our decisions. So we hold ourselves back until we get that certainty. What's important to understand here is this question: what is making that decision for me? Is my decision coming from fear, or have I listened to myself enough, considered the information that is available to me, done all that is within my control, and chosen what I genuinely feel is the most supportive direction forward? And this is where the drawing process becomes so helpful, because through this process, we are allowing our mind and our nervous system to let go. And we establish this communication on paper where we allow whatever is happening in the background. So we've got our conscious thoughts, conscious decision-making mechanisms, but in the background, in the subconscious level, we've got so many limiting patterns, protective patterns, or stories that are playing in the background. And through this process, when we allow ourselves to express our thoughts, our emotions onto paper in this step by step structured process. This is where the invisible becomes visible. This is where the communication is established. And this is where we can actually make a change because we cannot change something that we cannot see first. We first have to understand what is preventing us from moving forward. And it's not really about understanding. Sometimes you don't even have to fully understand it, but simply allowing it to be processed through the movement of your hand, through the visual perception. This is what helps your nervous system feel more comfort, more safety, and allow you to move through it with more ease. So for me, in this case, fear didn't have to completely disappear. I went into that with still a little bit of fear remaining, but for the most part, I had a lot of trust in this process. And this is what helped me go through it with much more strength, with much more positivity. And of course, it affects the way that we heal afterwards. So it can definitely influence the results, the outcome of whatever we put our minds into. Trust doesn't mean knowing exactly what's going to happen. It means that you've listened to yourself enough. You've done your research if that's necessary, and you're choosing the next step from the most loving and supportive place that is available to you. And if you're going through a change or facing a decision right now and you're having a hard time hearing yourself underneath all the fear, overthinking, responsibility, or emotions in general, I've created a short heart flow assessment that can help you discover which protective pattern may be influencing you right now. It will give you a simple personalized drawing experience to help you begin working with that pattern and reconnecting with greater clarity and self trust. The link is in the description.